Color psychology is a lie. At least in the way it got popularized in the internet. We've all seen those pretty charts that allocate specific moods and emotions to colors. Red for danger, blue for calm, green for health, yellow for joy, orange for excitement, and purple for dignity. Except, red is also a color of holiness. Blue stands for masculinity, green for toxicity, yellow for caution, orange for enlightenment, and purple for extravagance. And these aren't even the only meanings these colors are associated with. Throw in different cultures and you might get near 100 significances for each individual color. So the question remains, is there really a universal meaning for each color? Or are we just all in love with our chromatic biases? So welcome back to the Design Quickie, where I give you some personal insight into design for brands in a time-efficient way. Let's discuss the color psychology fraud. Okay, so not every aspect of color psychology is a bust. For example, many researchers have been trying to find the ways that color affect us. A 2007 study by Elliott and Meyer found that exposure to the red color, even briefly, could impact people's performances in specific tests. In 2009, Mehta and Zhu observed that red could enhance performance in detailed-oriented tasks, while blue would boost performance in creative tasks. Another study from Bakchi and Chima found that red backgrounds would increase impulsivity in shoppers, especially in those big sales signs. So red is good for detail work, but bad for tests. But it also increases impulsivity. Okay. In 2012, Labrecque and Milne conducted a rigorous study that assessed how people perceived brands. The results showed a strong association between the color red and excitement, while blue was linked to competence. However, it also mentioned that colors with higher saturation felt more exciting, while less saturated tones felt more sophisticated, but also more rugged, depending on the color. What's more, it concluded that different industries saw colors differently, like how fast food loves red, but finance is terrified of it. So now red is exciting, but it also depends on which shade of red we're talking about and also who's observing the color. Sure. In 2007, Qualic et al. Wanted to investigate if a red-colored office would reduce workers' productivity. They found out that workers who were more sensitive to stimulus would perform better in a blue-green office, while less sensitive workers would perform better in a red office. Are you starting to see the pattern here? When we look at these studies, we notice that color perception is highly contextual, depending on vibrancy, application, industry, and even on the people observing it. And these were all studies made in North America. We're barely even considering cultural differences. In East Asia, for example, white is a color of mourning, while red represents luck. And we can see how context plays a role just by looking at some famous brands. Starbucks is green despite having no association with nature whatsoever. Colgate, a health brand, is as red as it gets. Decathlon, a brand for sports and activity, is blue. And Taco Bell is purple for the simple reason that it was a trendy color in the 90s. Plus, it stood out from all other restaurants around. Because standing out is what really matters in branding. Are all of your competitors blue? Great, go red. And all buyers will pay attention to you. Forget color psychology. Focus on context. Thanks for watching.